In this video, we'll learn about creating different types of arrays and try to develop our understanding about Numpy arrays in much more detail. So, first of all, let us start the code with the revision of the basic program that we discussed in the previous video. As this code says, we have to just create a simple array in NumPy. So how do we do that? We'll import NumPy as np, then we will make one arr variable and we'll use this function called np.array, and inside this function we'll pass one Python list, and then we have a ready-made NumPy array, and as you can check by printing the values of the array or also by checking the type of the variable in Python. So NumPy is used to work with arrays, and the array object inside NumPy is called the nd array that we have already discussed. Now we can create a NumPy nd array by using this array function. That is also done. So up till this part we are very clear. Now let us move to the next topic, that is called dimensions in NumPy array. So this is very important concept and try to focus on this very carefully. So the next few sections of the course will be very easy for you if you develop this concept right now. So let us understand. A dimension in array is one level of array depth, that is we can also call the nested arrays. Now in NumPy we have different dimensional arrays. So first of all, we'll see the 0D arrays, or we can also call them scalars in NumPy. So scalars or 0D arrays are the elements of the array itself. So each value in a 0D array is a 0D array or a scalar. Now an array that has 0D arrays as its elements is called unidimensional or a one-dimensional array. So these are the most common and basic arrays. And array that has 1D arrays as its elements is called a 2D array. Now the 2D arrays are often represented as matrix or second order tensors. Now we can increase this one step ahead, and we can also say that an array that has 2D arrays or matrices as its elements, and these types of arrays are called 3D arrays, and these are also known as third order tensors. So let us go back and understand over here. So inside this NumPy array, each unique value that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are called zero dimensional arrays or a scalar. So this itself is a scalar quantity. Now this array itself, if you check the dimension of the entire array, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this will be given as a single dimensional NumPy array. So I hope this is clear. Now to create a 0D array with one value, so a 0D array or a scalar is just one single value in NumPy. So we can call this np.array and just pass this one single value, and this will create one simple 0D array in NumPy. So now let's take one more example and see how do we create a 1D array. So this, what we were doing up till now, was we were creating a single 1D array. Now this 1D array contains 5 different values, and these 5 different values itself are a zero dimensional array or a scalar quantity, as we say in NumPy. So this will create a 1D array, and let us also take one example for 2D array. Now this array, as you can see, has 2 different dimensions. So create a 2D array containing 2 arrays with values this and this. The entire code will remain the same. Only the thing that you pass inside the np.array function will change. So as you can see, this is the first dimension and this is the second dimension. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. So this itself is a 1D array and this itself is a 2D array. If we come back to this slide, as it says, an array that has 1D arrays as its element is called a 2D array. Just focus on this line. An array that has 1D arrays as its elements is called a 2D array. So now look at this array. This array is a 2D array and it has 1D array, this 1D and this 1D array as its element. So as its element. So this is a 2D NumPy array. Now we can also increase this to one step ahead, and we can create one 3D array with 2 different 2-dimensional arrays like this. We'll see all these examples in our practical section also. I'll teach you how to make a single scalar quantity or a 1D array, 2D array, 3D array in the practical section just after completing this presentation. Now just for the confirmation, like how to check the number of dimensions of the array. So NumPy arrays provides the ndim attribute that returns an integer and tells us how many dimensions in the arrays that we have. So what we can do, here, as you can see on this code, we have created 4 different arrays. This is a 0D array, this is a 1D array, this is a 2D array, and this is a 3D array. So what we can do, we can just call this .endem attribute. So A is a 1D 0D array. We can just simply write a.endem. So it will return the dimensions of first array. This will return the dimensions of B, this C, and this D. So this is how we check the dimensions of the NumPy array. So I hope you are clear with all the concepts discussed in the presentation. Now we'll move to the practical part and try to implement all this in our Jupyter notebooks. So let us start with the practical implementation of creating arrays of different dimensions in NumPy. So first of all, let us look at a 0D array. Let me give a markdown 0D array. Now we'll import NumPy as np, and then what we can do, we'll make this variable called a, and we can write np dot array, and as this is a 0D array, so it will contain only one single element, let's say 55. Now we have one array, and if we try to print a, we are getting array 55. So this means that it is a single dimension array. We can also check the type of a, and we also saw this attribute called endem, a.endem. So this returns 0. That means this is a 0-dimensional array. This endem attribute is used to check the dimension of the array. Let's create one more array, b, and this time we can use np dot array, and we'll write 1 2 3 4. So this will be a 1D array, because as already discussed in the theory part, that a 1D array is a collection of different 0-dimension arrays, and or the scalar values that we call in NumPy. So to create a 1D array, we can just simply write one Python list. This can also be a one point of view. We can also write one simple Python list inside the np.array function. So this will create one single 1D array in NumPy. So let us run this cell, and if I check b.endem, this time, as you can see, we are getting 1 in the output. Now let us try to create a 2D array. So and let me change it to markdown, and in the next cell what we can do, I'll write c and np dot array, and this time to create a 2D array, we can just pass 2 different Python lists. So what we can do, we'll just write 1 2 and 3, and again we'll pass one more list. So we can write 7 8 and 9. So this will create a 2D array. Okay, we forgot one thing, we just have to pass the entire thing into one more square brackets. So now if we try to run this, this will create a 2D array. So to create a 2D array, inside a square brackets, pass 2 different Python lists. So this is a simple 2D array in NumPy. Now to check, okay, first of all let us try to print the array. As you can see, this is printing in the form of a matrix that we already discussed in the presentation. Now we can also check the dimensions of the C array, and as you can see, it is 2. So this is a 2D array. Now we'll create one 3D array. So to create a 3D array, we'll make one new variable d, and we can write np dot array, and inside this array function, first of all we'll open one single square brackets 1 2 3, and then we have one more square brackets 4 5 6. Then again we'll close this. A 3D array will be a collection of 2 different 2D arrays, right? And then again we'll copy the entire thing and paste it over here, and this entire thing will be enclosed in one square brackets as we did in the 2D array. So a 3D array will be a collection of 2 different 2-dimensional arrays. This concept we already discussed. So in 2D array, what you can see, it is a collection of 2 different 1-dimensional arrays. So similarly, if we increase the hierarchy, a 3D array will be a collection of two different 2D arrays. If I run this cell and if I try to print D, so as you can see we are getting two different 2D arrays, and this entire thing itself a three-dimensional array. We can also check this by doing the endim attribute. So this is returning the dimensions 3. So this is how you work with different dimension of arrays in NumPy. This we created a 0-dimensional array, that is just a single value. Then to create 1-dimensional array, just pass the single Python list inside the np.array function. To create a 2D array, the 2D array will be a collection of two different 1-dimensional NumPy arrays. The 3D array will be a collection of different 2-dimensional arrays. So this is how you work with arrays of different dimensions in NumPy. I hope you are clear with this concept. Now let's move to the next video. Thank you.